LoveLine is meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion advised. Now, here's LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191. With Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
What? Are you insane?
There, and their one moment in the sun is when they get to hit the stage in the auditorium in front of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 kids and stand up there and make a couple of announcements and then bring out the hired celebrities, which in this case was Drew and myself. But we always give them the same advice when they ask us, how should we bring you out? Short and sweet. As quickly as possible. I always tell them it can get a little hostile up there.
We say no intros, just here they are.
The LoveLine crowd is not the C. Everett Koop or Maya Angelou crowd.
Right.
They're a slightly more boisterous crowd, and they will heckle. Not us, naturally, because we're big stars, but the guy who comes out there and brings us out, there has been some heckling before. So anyway, we tell the guy short and sweet, and he starts reading our bio, and we say, no. Don't even get into that. Dr. Drew went to the Little Lord Fauntleroy School for Albino Hemophiliacs, and then graduated and went to Amherst and went to USC. Don't get into all that. Adam Carolla did stand-up at all the major this or that, or worked with the Groundlings or Acme Comedy Troupe. Believe me, they're going to start yelling stuff. Just bring us out. And I even used an example. I said, listen, if they were here to see a band, you wouldn't read off the resume of whatever band. You're here to see Cheap Trick. Like, I can't think of a band that exists after 1979. You're not going to talk about the names of all their albums or how many records they sold. You're just going to yell, ladies and gentlemen, Cheap Trick, and they'll scream, and we'll walk out on stage. So he says, fine. So he goes out there naturally, and he starts in. Now, first thing he does is he says, Dr. Drew got his master's, which is not on the paper, I don't believe, from USC. Now, USC is not the University of Southern California when you're in
the Southeast.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
What university is it, Drew?
The University of Southern Carolina.
Right, which is what? A rival.
A
big rival. So people start booing immediately because I think he went to Southern Carolina, which is tough to hit the stage on. But then he just keeps going, and then, people are like, hey, fat ass, sit down! And he's undaunted. He's still going. He's not looking up from his note cards.
And then we come out. He's got to keep going.
Now, we decided to put an end to it. Mercifully, we just came out on stage after a few minutes and decided to, send him to the bullpen. But he wasn't finished. He had some announcements about where you could get mugs and people wanting to sign up at the activity center for next year's program and blah, blah. So he stood there next to us. I had a microphone, but he had Drew's microphone, and he just stood there muttering through.
And we had another weird experience. I was telling Ann that we're getting on the plane to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we were on our way to Greenville, South Carolina, near where Clemson is. And we get in the plane. Alan Thicke walks up to us and goes, hey, guys, how you doing?
In Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Hey, Alan,
right.
Where are you going? Greenville, South Carolina.
That's right.
How weird was that?
We traveled the Thickes. You've arrived when the Thickes are your traveling companions. Yeah, we got off the plane in Atlanta and got on another one for Greenville with the Thickes. Alan seems like a very nice guy.
Very nice guy. My wife is lovely, too.
Yeah, why shouldn't he be? As like a 22-year-old homecoming queen type. She was like Miss USA or something. He's got to be 50-something, but he looks great.
Right. It's one of those where it's like, okay.
Yeah. He looks like he's 28.
Devoted father.
She's this big, beautiful Amazon woman. They got this beautiful kid. He couldn't be happier. Wears like a golf hat and $300 sunglasses, and he's he is enjoying himself, that Alan Thicke. Yeah, we got to get him on the show one of these days, find out what the hell he's doing. All right. You ready to move forward here, Drew?
Let's go.
Phone number, 1-800-LOVE-191. Amelia.
Hey, how you guys tonight?
Good.
Right.
You're 18 there.
That's right.
Yeah.
The problem is I just discovered that I got crabs, and I'm assuming it's from my boyfriend because I haven't been with anybody else.
What do you mean you just discovered you got them? How'd that happen?
Well, I noticed them on my body.
You found crabs?
Yes.
Are they just in the pubic area or are they anywhere else?
They were.
Okay.
They were.
You don't hear about crabs so much these days, do you?
I think...
Do you think we've eradicated crabs?
No.
Well, obviously not. But, I mean, what I'm saying is the more we kill and the more effective we get at killing them, like, I don't know, rats or something in neighborhoods or something,
Yeah.
roaches, doesn't the population go down of crabs?
The pool is diminished, surely. And it's interesting, in the time I'm doing this show, some diseases that were really quite threatening 10 years ago have nearly gone away, like syphilis. Anyway, so what'd you do to correct them, to get rid of them?
I went to the clinic and I got a medication.
What medication you got?
200A or something, A200.
A200.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of a weak...
A200?
Yeah, that's the over-the-counter one. There's Elamite and Quell that are a little stronger, so if...
Can't you get all that stuff over the counter, though, these days? Did it come with that little comb?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That mustache comb? Does anyone actually use the comb part of it? Were you combing your pubic hair?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Wow.
Devotion.
Where do you put the part? I'm guessing in the middle.
So, Amelia, you got rid of it, and, it's possible you can get this sort of thing from bedclothes, bed sheets, or furniture even sometimes. I mean, there's such a thing.
So you think your boyfriend was cheating?
Well, I don't understand. I don't see any other possibility.
Well, here's the possibility, as Drew was alluding to. A, you can get it if somebody else, a friend of yours was sleeping over and had it, or something like that.
Not real likely, by the way.
Not real
possible.
likely, but you can get it from a towel or sheet or something, or comforter or something like that. Also, your boyfriend could have possibly gotten it from one of his skanky buddies who slept over at his house. So he doesn't necessarily... He wouldn't necessarily have had to have gotten it from a sexual encounter.
Okay.
All right.
How long does it take to show up after the initial contact?
They're pretty quick, like within days, but they have to proliferate usually before you notice them.
Is it the eggs that get on you?
I think the actual guys do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had the crabs, but I can tell you something about these crabs, folks. Let the professionals handle the crabs. I mean, go get the medicine. Don't think you can kill them on your own. You cannot. I took a crab off. I believe I've told you this before. My friend, who happened to get a lot of tail, had the crabs, pulled the crab off, and I'd been experimenting with ammonia when I was about 17, 18. I figured out...
Sniffing it?
That, too, and then hitting myself with the empty bottle on the head. I'd figured out that instead of... I had, like, cockroaches in my backyard, and I put it in a squirt bottle, and I sprayed ammonia. Yeah, on the cockroaches. Killed them. I mean, just when it got near them, pow. And they actually rolled over and stuck their tongue out. They were so dead. And I said, take a whiff off ammonia bottle. I mean, it is pungent stuff. I said, there's no way one of these things is going to live through ammonia, for Christ's sake. He took one off. He put it on the bathroom tile. I took a drop of ammonia, I put it on the crab. The crab was completely engulfed in ammonia, and the crab just walked straight out of the bubble of ammonia and just kept going. That's something. That's a powerful animal. Yes, crabby. That's right. He had crabby like 1 through 5 on.
Only 5?
I pity the fool that gives me crabs.
Only 5.
Oh, well, when you see 5.
Hey, you want to say thank you for this pizza?
Thank you for this pizza. Raj.
Yes, sir.
You're 24.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I have an interesting question. Really been bugging me. Actually, 2 questions.
Undescended testicle question?
Well, not that bad, but pussy. How do they get pussy from vagina? The same thing with the penis. How do they get dick from penis? I mean, how could Richard...
Hold on a second. Who are you, George Carlin over here? We allowed to say all that junk, Mike? Only I can say that. Yeah, how does the slang?
Consult with the linguist expert. You actually have been studying a slang dictionary.
I bought a slang dictionary in the Atlanta airport today and was reading it on the plane.
It was
kind of madman.
It was bizarre and boring until he hit the SCH category.
I got all the Yiddish section with the schmuck and the schmengela and the schmiel and the schmoozing. A lot of good Yiddish stuff, a lot of good SCH stuff. Drew perked up when I got to that section. All I did was get drunk and read a slang book. I don't know, Raj. It's a very good question, but I have no answer for you.
I predict, though, we will have 800 callers with the various theories.
And I predict
none of them will
799 of them are going to be stoned, stupid, and completely wrong.
Yeah, but thanks for the question.
Thanks,
I'm glad
Raj.
to serve you.
Fantastic. True. Did we need to take that call? Leanne,
Hi.
you're 20.
Yep.
What's going on with you?
Well, I've had a yeast infection before when I was younger, and just recently my boyfriend moved in with me, and it seems like I've been getting them every couple of months. I wondered if maybe having sex more often had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
certainly.
true, right?
Of course.
Because
however,
your vagina, it's like a snow globe. It settles, but then you shake it up, and stuff starts going everywhere.
Yeah. Are these easy to eradicate? In other words,
well, they've just been telling me, I just got over the counter. It wasn't even prescription. It was Lotrimin.
You got to use ammonia.
I understand, but it quickly is controlled with the Lotrimin.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then it's yeast, and that's you're upsetting that delicate balance in there, and it's all right.
Okay.
What's the Lotrimin do, Drew?
Kills the yeast.
How?
Ooh.
But it's some sort of, is it?
It's an antifungal.
What is yeast? Is it a fungi?
Yeah.
It's not a bacteria?
It's a fungus.
What's the difference between a fungus and a bacteria?
Totally different phyla, strata, different organism altogether.
Really? Then it wouldn't be killed by that? Mm-mm. But so it's got to be like strong enough to kill it, but mild enough not to burn your crotch, right? That's where the testing comes in. Nicole.
Yes.
You're 27.
Yep, that's right.
What's going on there?
Oh, pretty good. Well, anyway, I'm kind of nervous, sorry.
All right.
Okay, I've got a question. Actually, it's more for Dr. Drew.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to know if the size of a woman's clitoris and labia and all of that has anything to do with her ability to have orgasms.
No. Why?
But the weight is a factor, isn't it? Like if
Why?
you have like a 12-pound clitoris.
12 pounds, it could do something.
No.
3 pounds, you got to throw it back, right?
Why?
Well, oh gosh, I've never really noticed, but recently I've kind of realized, I guess, that I'm a little bit more predominant. Like my.
Is it helping things or hurting things, as far as you can tell?
I've always been very hard to please.
Yeah.
And I've talked to girlfriends and other women, and from oral sex, they get a lot out of it. They can orgasm 2-3 times.
But you can't because you have too much area on your clitoris, and a man cannot cover that kind of area.
I don't know what it is.
Hold on, let me talk to Drew for a second. You understand why just 100 years ago, but especially hundreds of years ago, it was so easy to rule over people. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could easily just whip something up.
And they'd believe it.
They'd all go along with it.
Right.
I swear to God, if I had like a flashlight and a sparkler, 400 years ago, I could have ruled Europe.
Yeah.
It would have been great. Jennifer thinks the size of
Nicole.
Nicole thinks the size of her clitoris. And how do you know it's much bigger than others?
We won't get into that.
But you've seen your friends, and you've compared.
Are you lesbian?
No.
But somebody.
I'm married. I'm married. Actually, married. Have 5 kids. The whole
5 kids.
5 kids.
Is that?
And I don't want the whole thing from Adam because I know how he is about birth control and all that.
Has that contributed to your anatomy? Having a bunch of kids?
No.
Hasn't changed your anatomy.
I don't think it has.
All right. Okay.
I don't think. But the thing I was kind of wondering is the whole thing about they always say that women with larger breasts have less sensitivity than women with smaller breasts.
Sometimes.
And I was kind of wondering if that is kind of the same thing.
No, I would say not.
No?
No.
But everything okay? 5 kids?
Mm-hmm.
See?
Pretty much, but we're done.
See, Adam would not attack you for having 5 kids if you're able to manage them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's your husband do for a living?
Actually, my husband does like heating, air conditioning.
Oh, HVAC.
Yeah.
Tin knocker.
Yeah.
Christ. You look, I'm going to make a list one day of what you can own off of what profession. HVAC, you get a like a raccoon and a drunk uncle who stays with you once a month. That's all you can afford.
Remind me to tell my raccoon story.
That's not true, actually. That's not true.
5 kids, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, I stay at home with the kids, and he works.
Does he own his own company?
No.
Oof.
No.
He's just
Yeah, but
crawling
remember,
through.
if you live in, where do you live, Ohio?
Actually, right outside of Ohio. We're in northern Kentucky.
How the hell do you know she lives in Ohio?
I'm just
Trying to
guesstimating.
think of a good cheap place where white people congregate.
Where you can afford to live on 5 kids on that kind of money.
Hey, you know what was funny?
Not Miami.
All right, let's tell your. But don't tell your raccoon story yet.
All right.
I was making fun of a guy last night. It was up in the upper row, as I'm known to do, when we were doing our lecture. And I don't know what he was spouting off about. What would you? I think he gave us a hypothetical. Was it? What would you rather have? One big testicle or 14 or 16? Was it 14 very small testicles?
And if you ever wondered what our presentations are like, this is a pretty decent example of the kind of interaction we have.
Drunken frat guys in the 500th row yelling, "Hey, I got an important question. What would you rather have? Dude, one big testicle or 14 smaller ones? Answer the question, please." So I said to the guy, what are you, a political science major? And he said, yeah.
He was.
I am. That's weird. And it wasn't the world's greatest reference either. It was just, what I could come up with at the time. But doggone, he was a poli-sci major. But Drew, tell your raccoon story real fast.
First I'm going to say thank you to Ray at Soleil in Glendale for giving us pizzas, and I had a great dinner there tonight.
Oh, you want to?
I love that restaurant.
You should have napped, though.
What? I should have napped, but listen, family time.
Okay, yeah. They can't watch you nap? No. That's going to be my family time. Come on, kids. Up. Don't go on the other side of the velvet rope, honey. Daddy's napping.
Really unfair. I'm
Watch Daddy nap. I'll put like a sign there. I'll be like a exhibit at a museum.
It'll be like a Lennon.
Oh, look at him. He's rolling over and scratching himself.
It'll be a glass case. Ooh, he looks so real.
That's not quality family time. Your kid's watching you nap.
Anyway, listen to this. I'm trying to get to sleep. We have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going to eat some of this pizza.
It's great pizza, isn't it? Soleil in Glendale.
Yeah.
I really appreciate them.
But here's $8 worth of pizza, and you're plugging them.
Here's the deal. So it's 1:45 in the morning. Our dog starts going nuts.
Wait, what night?
This is Thursday night. No, Friday night. Friday night, we have to get up at 5 o'clock.
You're getting up at 5, okay.
Yeah, been going to bed at midnight, get up at 5. 1:45, hear the dog going nuts. We start, dog, shut up. You got to shut up. My wife goes out there, try to see what's going on with the dog. We knew we had a raccoon in the neighborhood. Always could have get in our garage and pull stuff out and eat the cat food and stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm awakened by my wife screaming, "He's here! He's here!" Shriek, "Oh, my God, he's here!" Running down the hall, screaming, "He's here!" I thought, Charles Manson, who's here? I fly out of bed. And
let me tell you something about chicks for 1 second. They got one mode. They're either on or they're off. When they're on, they can be screaming bloody murder. I mean, the same scream as, like I said, the Manson family
is here,
wielding knives and putting your initials and blood in the wall, as they do for the raccoon.
So that's in my mind. I'm imagining this. So what's the matter? The raccoon's here. He's in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen, up on the drain board, pulling stuff out of the cabinets and eating it. Yes, I can't hear you. But that's what was happening, and so I go out there and we can't.
How big is it?
Raccoon. It was what, 3 feet across. A raccoon?
It's not that big.
These are big
like
animals.
20 pounds.
In your no. In your house, it's like having a big
50?
dog walking around.
Let me tell you what in your house is the equivalent of. You know when you watch a nature film and a guy like holds a fish up and you go, man, it's not so big, but then you go out like skin diving or something and you see the fish in the water and it seems like a whale.
Yes.
Because you're in it with them.
Yes.
Like everything gets like 80% larger. In your house, it's like a magnifying glass for wildlife.
Oh, yes.
Everything gets bigger. If it's a cockroach on the sidewalk, it is twice as big when it's in your house.
In your house?
Through the dog door. Doggy door. And so we're sort of peeked around the corner trying to figure out what to do with this thing. He starts swaggering down the hall towards my kids' room. So, okay, that's enough of that. So I run down and start chasing him out. Goes back into the kitchen, starts helping himself again to the cabinets. And
what's your dog doing?
Going nuts. We locked him in the back room by this point because she was going nuts. And then he saw that we were upset, and he started getting kind of worked up. And he ran to the other side of the room, started climbing up the curtains, trying to basically climb his way out of the house. Then I tried to get him to calm down again, open the front door, and he was kind of wandering around some more, looking for stuff, taking his time, and kind of walked out finally.
Let me tell you what Drew told me. Drew said that he went to his car, he went to his medical kit, he pulled out a hypodermic syringe, filled it with a sedative, then took a bow from a violin, because one of his kids is practicing the violin, duct taped the syringe to the end of a mop handle and fired it into the raccoon, sedating it.
Huh? I did that too.
Then skinned it and ate it and stuffed it.
That was wild, having a raccoon.
Now he's got a hat.
That's
wandering around your house.
Isn't that kind of freaky? I'd freak out with a raccoon in my house.
Freak out.
I think Ann, you just move, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Let's just get our stuff and go right now.
Yeah, it's time. You've been there 17 months now, and you've outgrown the place.
Well, you don't know what kind of diseases it has.
Yeah, they can be rabbits sometimes.
Claws.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This guy was undisturbed by anything going on around him.
Yeah, they
just busy eating.
Yeah, they got a lot of attitude, those raccoons.
This one really did, boy.
I don't know why either. I mean, what I mean is certain animals have an attitude because they've evolved that way, because they understand, like, there's skunks around my house. And when I come up my stairs late at night, sometimes they're standing on the stairs. They look at me, and then they turn back around, and they finish doing whatever they're doing, but they don't scurry away. I have to go down and, like, sit in the car and wait for them to leave, and they leave when they're good and ready, and they understand that no one's going to F with them because they're skunks.
No scurrying. This was like a big dog just kind of walking around.
Yeah, but raccoons are, I guess, raccoons, they're kind of like bears that way. They just kind of walk around and wait for you to leave the campsite.
I kept thinking, my God, a bear could walk in here. I kept thinking about bears. It's the equivalent kind of a feeling, having a bear walking around.
So I bet you got a real restful 3 hours before you had to get on the plane. All right, we're going to take ourselves a little break. Justin is 16, just came off of a 9-month grounding. That's actually in the ground. That's why your parents dig a hole and put you into it for 9 months.
They call that a funeral.
He's grounded again for 6 months. He must be a real screw-up. Anyway, we'll talk to Justin after this.
LoveLine's phone number is 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. We'll be right back.
LoveLine. All right.
Hey, it's the LoveLine. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew over there. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Got the cast of MadTV coming in here tomorrow night, which we're watching in South Carolina last night at a bar.
Yeah.
No sound, but it looked funny. So I know most of those people, I think, by now, don't I?
Yeah.
All right. Until Drew's impressed. Justin.
Yeah.
You're 16.
Yeah.
Got grounded for 9 months initially, huh?
Yeah. I was grounded.
What'd you do, blow up a federal building or something?
No,
No?
Actually, I just made out with my girlfriend, and my parents are really strict.
Wow.
Your parents are really strict?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you were 15, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it was, like, I got off in January 1st.
9
and
months
so,
grounded. Huh.
we had to break up and everything, but,
What's so funny?
I was just thinking he said he got off on January 1st, and I pictured him like, trading cigarettes and buddying up to some of the guards, maybe starting a band, anything to pass the time.
For good behavior, he got off.
So wait a minute, Justin. Let me just make sure we have this straight.
Okay.
Your parents caught you making out with your girlfriend.
Yeah, well, they didn't catch me. Somebody told them, and then, like...
that you had made out with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you didn't get your girlfriend pregnant.
No.
And you had no prior history. There wasn't something here where
this hadn't built up from something else.
No, not at all.
You weren't misbehaving in other ways.
I think it's a religious thing. Because, I mean...
We know there's got to be more here, Drew. Somebody told him, guess what? Justin was making out with his girlfriend. This is the first I've heard of it. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. Give him 9 months.
My parents had no idea. Like, we were going out for, like...
Wait, I'm having my, thank you, sweet spirit, my geographic clairvoyance. You calling from Utah?
Me?
Yeah.
No. California.
Okay. All right, sweet spirit. All right, so 9 months they grounded you for, even though all you did was make out with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And if we talked to your parents, they'd say, he just made out with his girlfriend one time, so we grounded him for 9 months.
I made out with her a lot. Like, I mean...
But had they been telling you we don't want this sort of behavior from you?
Yeah.
All right. And did they have you multiple warnings and other consequences prior to the 9-month grounding?
No, they didn't. It was just... They didn't know anything.
How did they choose 9 months?
Yeah.
Why 9 months?
Well, they for the rest of the year.
Oh, I see. So they busted you in May or something like that.
You're grounded again now, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it was like a chain of things. It started like 3 weeks ago, and I accidentally, it wasn't active, but I came home late I had a curfew, and I came home like...
Just all these accidents keep happening to you. It's amazing.
What was your curfew for?
It was 12, and I came home at 12:20.
Yeah.
So they got upset, and I mean, it was my fault and everything.
Okay,
so,
what else?
Last night I came home late too, and it was my fault again, and I knew I was going to get in trouble, but I didn't know that they were going to ground me for 6 months.
Now, when you get grounded, what do they do to you?
Well, I can't use the phone, which I'd be in trouble right now, but I can't, no, my parents, anyway, I can't.
What else can't you do?
I can't go to anywhere but work and school.
No going number 2.
Yeah.
By the way, it's one of the provisions of the grounding. You have to come home right after school.
I go to work like almost every day.
Yeah. Okay, so your parents are strict.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, they give you curfews at midnight. Not too bad. 16,
yeah.
Well, I've heard later and I've heard earlier. But you sort of constantly defy them, don't you? They tell you not to use the phone, and you call crappy advice shows at God knows what hour. You know what I mean? You don't really abide by the rules, do you, Justin?
Well, I know I should be punished and everything, but, I mean, isn't this a little bit overboard?
It seems a little excessive. On the other hand, I'm sure if they had a chance to state their case,
it'd be a little different.
We'd want it to be 10 months or 7 months.
You seem to have difficulty accepting responsibility for much of anything, even though you're sort of giving a passing nod to responsibility. In reality, you're just dismissing all this.
Yeah. Listen, there's no doubt that your parents are going overboard a little here, but we'd rather them err in that direction, wouldn't we?
It can be just as bad sometimes, but yeah, I suppose, all things being equal.
But here's the deal. If you want to call us and tell us what horrible parents you have because they're forcing you to study, or they're grounding you, or they're setting limits, or they're punishing you, or they're what have you, you're not going to find a sympathetic ear.
No.
Just as long as it ain't me. It's one of these things where I wish all parents were this way except for my parents. You know what I'm saying?
Or had your parents been this way, it would be unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think I could have used a little
your
discipline.
Your head would have exploded. Could you imagine if they suddenly turned this on?
Oh, no, they couldn't turn this on.
Yeah.
I had no curfew. I didn't. When I was 8, my curfew was midnight. Then, actually, it became 8 in the evening by the time I was 16, but it was of the next day.
Oh, they wanted you back
so
in 2 days.
No, it actually went around.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 or 3 days.
Eventually, sure.
So I had to show up. That was my curfew. If I went out on a Saturday night, I had to show up Tuesday. I think they secretly hoped I wouldn't return. I really do.
Secretly?
Well, no. Well, it didn't become verbal until I was 18 or 19. Fred.
Yeah.
You're 18.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Nothing much. How you guys doing?
Good.
This is a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got, I got back into counseling like not too long ago, like this past week. It was voluntary, and I told my, well, it's not so much therapist but counselor, everything that I've been going through and why I chose to get back into counseling. And after our discussion, she came to the conclusion that I had homicidal idealization, and I was wondering what that was. I know the homicide part, but
Ideation.
ideation. What
Just
does that mean?
Thoughts.
Thoughts?
Thoughts.
Okay. And,
Why are you having homicidal thoughts?
Yeah. And
Better to have suicidal thoughts, isn't it, Drew?
Yeah.
No, I'm over that. That's when I was 13.
Yeah, but listen, Fred and anyone else who's listening, I don't want you to kill yourself, but before you kill somebody else, kill yourself. That's my message to America.
But I think everything that I'm going through is all related to my sexual abuse issue.
Right, I bet.
But
Now-
it's not
now-
so much sexual abuse, it's incest, you know.
Yeah.
That was perpetrated by your father?
My grandmother and my aunt, and I don't know.
Wow, that's
Grandmother.
What did she do to you?
It wasn't her that did so much to me, it was me. Well, what I think kicked it off was her masturbating in front of me when I was like 5 or 6, you know.
Wow.
5 or 6?
She used to let me sleep with her in bed, you know, and all that stuff.
What's the matter with your grandmother? How old is she?
She, right now?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Got rough guess.
56? I don't know.
56. And what's
40?
the matter with her? She
56.
manic depressive? Is
Oh, I
she
guess
drug
she
addict?
could be.
Nah.
What's the matter?
Everything in our
50s.
family's all traditional.
Well, oof.
Except for the part about grandma masturbating.
Yeah. Well, that was...
Other than that, it's Rockwell.
Well, I'm pretty sure the incest is pretty traditional, too, because it runs in our family. you know,
Oh,
on
okay.
both sides.
Well, wait a minute. Now, Fred, let me do a little quick math here. You're 18 now.
That's a lie.
Oh,
How old are you?
21.
Oh, 21. Okay. Listen, it makes no never mind to us, by the way. But, okay, so you're 21. So this happened 14, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
15 years ago. So your grandmother could have been
40.
pretty young. Well, she may be a little bit older
Well, she was
now.
old, yeah. Because I was...
Well, listen, when you're 6, everyone's old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get a 13-year-old cousin who seems like an old man, right?
How old is your mother?
My mother?
Yeah. How old?
My mother, she's like 36, 7, I don't know.
So
Fred doesn't really sweat the details.
But that would make sense. It would be
30. So your mom had you when she was 15, 16?
18. Oh, yeah, 15, 16. Right.
21.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And then probably grandma had her when she was 16, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that adds up to about 54.
All right, so you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Where's Grandpa?
Grandpa, he's up in heaven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe up in heaven, depending on which
All right.
way you're standing.
But you don't have any homicidal plans, right?
No, I just
ideation.
came to the conclusion. The only thing I touched on during that first session we had was just my anger, you know.
Well, if your anger included thinking about hurting people, that's what that is.
Well, what? Your grandmother masturbated in front of you and then forced you to do things?
No, I got curious and started acting out on her, you know. I started touching her in all the good places and all that.
Yeah, but she let you do that. I mean,
She wants
that's
to encourage that, yeah.
And
that's kind of
I'm
hurt.
confused about that because when that all happened, you know, it happened until I was 13.
Yeah.
And every time I did it, you know, it always looked like she was asleep, you know. And I was just wondering if she was or not.
No.
In all those places, you know, do you think she would be asleep?
No, she wasn't asleep.
No?
We would say she was asleep, except for she did the masturbatory part in front of you beforehand. No, she's not asleep.
Yeah.
Do you think that's intentional, what she did? Do you think she wanted me, you know, could crawl in bed with her and do all that?
Well, she had bad boundaries in terms of her
She did in her own. Yes, I blame her 100%. And where was Grandpa during that time? Was he dead already?
No, he was on my left side.
Oh my God.
Oh, this was happening.
Oh my God.
What? And how's your mom and dad?
How's my mom and dad?
Yeah.
They're divorced.
Imagine that. Has your mom had a bunch of husbands or
boyfriends?
Boyfriends.
Yeah. And this is your mom's mother.
No, my
mom.
father's mother. This is my father's mother.
Oh.
True. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
This is your father's mom.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they older?
No, I'm the oldest.
Is stuff going on with them or?
another grandparents of ours got to the youngest one, but she's, I don't know.
Anybody reported all this?
Yeah, all of it's reported.
Oh, boy. All right, good. Fred?
Yeah.
Don't have any kids for a while.
Yeah, I don't even have a girl, you know. I'm
Good.
waiting all on that.
You're
Right.
in therapy.
It's all about school.
You're in
therapy.
Oh, it's all
Great.
about school. Good. Yeah, listen. All right, Fred, I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you how life goes. Don't listen to this Drew. He gets everything he knows out of a book. Whereas I read the the book of puns, or the slang book. That's where I learn it when I'm drunk on the plane. Here, let me tell you. Life's going to be extra difficult for you for a little while.
Yeah.
But because you know, it's like when they say someone has a handicap, and then what they do is they have to overcompensate because they have this handicap, and they end up being sort of better people.
Exceptional people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's true. They always talk about handicap employees working better, getting more work done, showing up earlier, staying later, all that kind of stuff. And then you show me some guy who's 6'3", 230 pounds and all muscle, and I'm going to show you some idiot who shows up drunk on Monday morning. It's kind of sad, but that seems to be the way it goes. So life's going to be extra difficult for a little while, but you get your therapy, you stay in school, you make your strides, you'll have insight by the time you're 21 that people in their 50s don't have.
Yeah.
And you'll end up actually probably having a more exceptional life if you don't do something stupid to jeopardize it along the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Oh. Can you imagine? Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Hey, you can talk about therapy all you want, but, it's like you think of a handful of things that happened to you when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Your folks went to your sister's recital and didn't show up at yours,
Right.
5 years therapy.
Right.
And you're pissed as hell. Imagine this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, what you're talking about, and what we're all talking about in our everyday lives, coping with our trials and tribulations of the past, would really be the equivalent to like a tremor, and this would be like a 8.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like nothing. Like a can fell off the shelf compared to a whole town being completely devastated.
Yeah.
All right. Got my earthquake analogy in. I can check that off the list.
Good. Now we go to break.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jamie. Jamie's 20, boyfriend of 1 month, has a curved penis. Why isn't it straight? All right, we'll tell her after this.
LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Phone number's 1-800-LOVE-191.
We'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, right there.
It's LoveLine on WEBN.
Hi, this is Nancy Sinatra, and you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
All right. Those boots were made for walking to the therapist's office.
Oh, boy.
She got an issue or two, that Nancy, doesn't she?
She was very nicer than more stable than I thought she might be.
Oh, really? They were being a little nutty.
Didn't she have a daughter here with her that night?
Yeah. Something. No, she spoke. I think she spoke of her daughter, but I'm not sure. She was nice. I just remember thinking, ooh, she's seen a thing or two, this
Yes,
this
she made
lady.
that clear. Yeah.
And didn't get by completely unscathed.
No.
But then, who of us here have? Right, Drew?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are we talking to?
Jamie.
Jamie?
Yeah,
What's happening?
nothing much.
All right, then.
Okay, my question is, I've been dating this guy for a couple weeks, and but we've been friends for a long time. So when we were messing around, I noticed that his penis, instead of like when it is an erection, instead of like kind of facing north to the sky, it kind of faces down to the ground. And
All the way along or just at the tip?
excuse me?
All the way along or just at the tip? Is it a gentle arc or a sudden drop off at the tip?
No, like the whole thing, just straight down.
Yeah. Right. What's the question?
Instead of facing toward the sky, it faces the earth?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a divining rod.
Right.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
It helps them find water, is what Drew's saying.
Oh.
So what? Like my question is like, what causes it to do that?
We got to revamp the educational system, Drew.
It can be normal, Jamie. Some people just that's the way they're configured.
Oh, I see.
It's not normal that it face the ground.
It's not as common, but it's normal.
Okay, and because like at the top, it's like not as hard as. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it kind of like
That's interesting.
isn't completely hard.
Well, it may have Peyronie's disease. I mean, if there's problems with erection function associated with curvature.
Is it a big penis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that. See, I always wanted one of those penises that had zones. You know, you could section it off. Like, well, at the 3-inch level, it was this way, but then once you pass that point up until the 6.5-inch, zone or level. You know what I mean? My penis is just a penis, but it can't really be broken off into quadrants or anything. You know what I'm saying, Drew?
Yeah.
Like, I knew this guy was hung when she was saying, well, the penis itself headed this direction, but then by the time he got down to the end of it, that section was different than the section before it. It's like you're talking about a, mulholland or something. Yeah, that's... So now, Drew, do guys with big penises sometimes have more difficulty filling them up?
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of pornography, and I can tell you that the bigger the guy's penis, like the penis is only made to be so big, which is a little bit smaller than mine. And once they get bigger than that, the guys have difficulty. I'm trying to think. Let's see. FM Bradley. Field Marshal Bradley, some of the guys, but like guys like John Holmes, with this legendary penis of his, it was never quite right. I mean, it was always kind of flaccid. It bent in the middle. It had sort of a bitter taste. I mean, it. It was always like something that was sort of, it was like a balloon that was sort of had been lying, after the party.
Floppy.
A couple days later, it's lying around. It didn't quite work. Frank James is the big Indian guy that Ron Jeremy was telling you when he drank the firewater, he went nuts.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a huge penis. That thing's always flopping around. All the guys with the huge penises. Except for Ron Jeremy, actually, but his is, I think, right on the sort of cusp. Anything bigger than that, or maybe that's something to do with it, right, Drew?
What?
Okay. So there's nothing you can do about his penis. In other words, Jamie. And if it's flexible at the end, maybe he does got the bronies. Julia.
Yeah.
You're 18.
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend, he lives in Santa Monica, and. I don't see a lot of him because he doesn't drive like his parents don't let him drive to Lakewood a lot. So I had started seeing this other guy, Jake, and we started fooling around. Well, I had told my best friend, Stephanie, and then we had gotten this fight, and she told him that she knew, and so he went around, well, if she told someone, then I can go tell everyone. Well, my boyfriend's best friend goes to my school too, and he found out, and now my boyfriend knows.
Yeah, what's his name?
Who?
The boyfriend's best friend?
Sam.
Okay.
And I don't know, now my boyfriend wants to beat my Jake's ass, and everything's going wrong, and my best friend, she just screwed up my whole life right there just doing that.
Yeah.
Give her the best friend speech.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll get back at her. As a matter of fact, hold on a second. Where is she, Jennifer? Jennifer?
Yeah?
No.
Wait, who are we just talking to, jackass? 4, please. Julia?
Yeah?
I'm sure you've screwed with your best friend before, though, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I don't know, because we had just started being best friends this year, because we were both on the soccer team, and we had everything in common. And then, we just got in this stupid little fight, and she went off and told everyone.
What was the fight over?
It was over that...
Julia having slept with her other
it was
best friend's
the
boyfriend.
Guy that I was cheating on. She had gone out with him.
There you go. There you go.
Geez, what
She was jealous that I was
perfect.
with him, and so she... And then she's also lying, saying that I was sleeping with this other guy, too, and so,
What a surprise. All right, well, it was very obvious that you must have betrayed her in some fashion. even though you don't think of it as that. She did. That's why she ratted you out, because Jake was her man, or at least that's what she thought. Right?
Yeah.
So as it turns out, she didn't just do this for no reason. She screwed with, you screwed with her man, she screwed with your man, right? And
it's proof that
right,
like personalities attract one another.
Right. All right, you both deserve each other in the chaos you have. Now listen, I don't know what you want us to tell you, but stop hanging around with idiots.
Well, it's just the fact of what should I tell my boyfriend, like...
Well, forget it. It's over. He lives in Santa Monica. He doesn't have any wheels. You live in Lakewood, which even though there's water in the name, doesn't mean it's anywhere near the ocean, and you're screwed. So he goes to a different school, right?
Yeah.
I break up with him. Come on. Don't make him drag him through this mud. And listen to me. This, by the way, is why cops, how they catch most of the homicides. They just go for the motive.
Right.
Who's the motive?
Right.
That's all they look at, everybody. It's all motive. Forget about your alibi. Forget about where you were, who saw you, or who didn't see you, or if you wiped your prints clean. Who had something to gain from your wife dying? The husband does, because he had an insurance thing. And I don't care if he has pictures of him in Tahiti when the murder went down. Believe me, they'll trace it back to him. Now, here's what I'm saying. Julia over here with her betraying friend, I knew she'd done something to her. It's real easy to figure out.
Of course.
But according to Julia, her friend just sort of stepped out on her own, decided to alert her boyfriend because of no reason. All right, screwball, stop hanging around with more screwballs like yourself. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll speak to who, Drew? Chris? Ex-Marine with some... tried and true remedies for crab lice. Oh, yeah. I'm sure, especially when you travel to Asia. You got to learn how to get rid of those lice.
Oh, boy.
All right, we'll be back.
This is LoveLine. LoveLine will be right back.
Hi, this is Jesus Christ.
This is Eric Cartman. This is Kyle Broslovsky.
And this is Counselor Mackey. Okay, we're from South Park.
And you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Yes, he is. We're going to take a 10-second station identification, top of the hour break, and we'll be back with more LoveLine in 10 seconds.
This is LoveLine on radio station.
You know me better than that. I'm a total pro.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
You're 27. What's going on?
Not much. How are you guys doing? I've been listening to you guys for quite some time.
We've had a little too much of each other, quite frankly.
Yeah.
No, I was listening to the caller call in about crabs and getting rid of them and going to the doctors and stuff like that. And when I was in the service, especially, not so much boot camp, but the School of Infantry and things like that, going out in the field all the time, you know, in the brush, a lot of guys would contract crabs. And
crabs or just lice in general?
Yeah, no, just basically crabs, because our hair was so shorn, it was like there was no problems with that. But to get rid of it, the simplest remedy that a corpsman told us, a Navy corpsman, was to use bleach.
Oh, yeah, bleach will work.
And bleach just...
that doesn't sound like a simple technique, though, to me. It sounds rather potentially harmful and treacherous.
As long as you keep your penis pointed, like, up, and cover the opening, I didn't see any of the guys having any problems with it.
You mean just poured bleach over the area and then wash it off real fast?
Exactly. They do it in the shower. They bring in the Clorox container with them.
I see. I wouldn't... that's not the kind of remedy I would necessarily advocate on a radio.
Well, listen, Drew, this is a fighting man's army. You don't have time to be sashaying down to the pharmacy.
I understand that, but our stone listeners, you know what they'll do? They'll do anything not to seek health care.
I don't know, though. If bleach works, it works.
The other question I had for
the sack will absorb the bleach, though. That could be painful, yeah.
The other question I had for you is I was curious, would the nicks that people use for head lice, would that work on something such as pubic lice?
The what? Nicks?
Nicks, like the kids in school.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the rid will.
Yeah.
So nicks might well. I'm not sure what the chemical is in nicks.
So you got the crabs from crawling around on the belly in the dirt.
It's really just lice.
There's a difference between crabs and lice, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Who do you think win in a fight?
Pubic lice.
The pubic lice or a crab? In a fight.
Pubic lice and crab are the same thing. You mean lice?
I mean a louse and a crab.
Crab will win.
Crab would win?
Sure. You ever seen electron micrographs of those things?
Of crabs?
Looks like something from a science fiction movie.
Don't listen. You want to know the greatest torture in the world? This would be the greatest torture in the world. Find someone who had crabs, get them stoned, and then make them look at electron micrograph. Is that what it is?
Scanning electron micrographs, yeah.
Of the crab. The crab has, tentacles and 10 eyes and a big ass and... it's a bizarre, hideous-looking creature, right?
Yes, it is.
It's as hideous, more hideous than any earthbound creature.
It's worse than anybody has so far thought up for science fiction movies.
Right.
They ought to just recreate that for the damn movie.
So get stoned and picture a couple thousand of those crawling around on your testicles.
A couple hundred.
Oh, my God. Jason.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, you're 23.
Right.
Yeah. Whoever invented that electron microscope should be kicked in the nuts.
I hear you.
Because it's 4 in the morning, I'm watching TV, some HEPA filter vacuum comes on, a commercial comes on, and they show these electricized pictures of dust spores and things like that, and I start freaking out.
Kills you.
Yeah.
What's up, Jason?
I had a little trip to Vegas this weekend, and I was at one of the establishments.
Didn't we just learn that Jason was a popular name in the Southeast?
Yeah.
And Melissa, if you live in the Midwest, that's the name.
Right.
So you were in Vegas.
You're in Vegas. You went to one of those ranches?
No, just a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
And
which one did you go to?
The Palomino Club.
Uh-huh.
And the girl who was dancing for me there had a little lap dance, and she said she had a hormonal problem, and she was lactating, and she wasn't pregnant, and her breast found its way into my mouth, and I ingested some of this lactation.
First off, could you hear anything over the 38 special that was playing in the background? Can you converse? It seems like the music is so loud in those places that you never really...
Actually, there it was pretty mellow. It was pretty low. I was surprised.
They're probably playing like Bach.
They were playing Ozzy Osbourne, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah,
Crazy Train.
They love that Crazy Train song. All those chicks like to hit the stage to the Crazy Train.
Yeah.
Listen, if you miss your 80s hair bands, go to a strip club. It's like a whack down memory lane. So she lactated into your mouth.
Right.
Yeah. And why did she do that if she knew she had this problem?
No, she showed it to me, and I was in alcohol,
Yeah, of course. When you're drunk, everything seems like a good idea.
Right, right. Exactly.
There's really no bad ideas when you're drunk.
It was like, wow, that that was a good idea. That's pretty neat. What does that taste like?
Right.
And she says, well, hold on a second. And she would have told no one was looking, and then, wham, there it was. And I found out what it tasted like.
Yeah.
It was only about, maybe about a teardrop.
Yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about, am I going to catch something from this? Do I need to go get tested? Or,
the only things I would worry about are the HIV and...
yeah. Other than that, you're in the clear.
I know, and possibly hepatitis, but that's not so likely. I suppose there's a slight risk of HIV. That would be about it, though.
Slight risk?
Yeah.
That'd be carried through the breast milk?
Yeah.
She wasn't pregnant. She's never had children.
No, I understand. That doesn't mean she can't carry HIV.
No, I just...
But she has some sort of hormonal imbalance that gave her the...
I'll tell you, the hormonal imbalance is her psychiatric medication.
Oh, wow.
Causing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of the most common causes.
I hope you feel good, Jason. You paid some crazy chick $20.
40.
40. Now you really feel bad.
Yeah, that or low thyroid or prolactin secreting tumor. But
or
more
she
likely,
could be pregnant. You never know.
More likely, meds.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That creates that? What meds?
Any of the antipsychotic meds.
Really?
And sometimes the antidepressants.
What's this guy going to say to his doctor? I was at I was running. I tripped. I landed on a lactating breast. My mouth was open.
A risk exposure I'm concerned about.
Okay, you don't have to get into the detail about Ozzy Osbourne.
No,
and,
he should be tested.
Pasties.
And then once again in 6 months.
Okay.
He's probably fine.
Jennifer, 16. Let me tell you the difference between guys and gals. First off, a woman wouldn't drop $40 to have a guy grind on him in a booth somewhere.
They wouldn't.
Off by the side of the stage. They would want money to do it, but they would not pay money to do it. And for the most part, there's a couple of them out there. Number two, if the guy had some sort of pus that was coming from an orifice,
that'd be it.
She would not be down for a sample of that. Would not look at that as extra cool. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And by the way, the mouth is not an environment the HIV typically survives in. A drop of something is not likely to cause a transmission, but you never
Really?
You
It's
never
got to get in the blood system?
Got to swallow it, basically. Jennifer.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to know if there's like any certain time during your menstrual cycle or whatever that's like safer for you to have sex. It's like less likely that you're going to get pregnant or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, should you like do it right before your period or what?
Why, we don't recommend people even think this way. Okay.
Drew could give you the answer, but he doesn't want to because he doesn't want you going out there and experimenting.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
You're not having sex with anybody?
No.
You don't have a boyfriend?
No.
Obviously, the only time you can get pregnant is if there's an available egg.
Uh-huh.
And usually that's within a day of ovulation.
Uh-huh.
So if you could predict when you were ovulating, which is usually around the 18th day.
I can tell when I'm ovulating.
I'm sure.
Cat starts acting funny.
Then you're the rest of the time you're safe. The problem is more than one egg may be released. It's hard to predict when there's a release. An egg may survive a little longer than you expect. It's a very treacherous thing to try to determine.
But normally you ovulate about 2 weeks after you end your cycle.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like in the middle.
Yeah.
That's you normally when you ovulate.
Okay.
So you have less chance while you're on your period or right before your period or right after your period, but that doesn't mean it ain't going to happen because everyone's different.
And also during a period there's less available endometrium, something for implantation. So where they're available.
What is that endometrium for?
The lining of the uterus so something can implant in there and grow.
What is the lining of the uterus?
That's what comes off during the period.
No.
It sloughs off.
Yeah.
You like that sloughing phenomenon, don't you?
I don't like that sloughing phenomenon. I really don't. The idea that you're sort of that whole cycling thing, I don't like it.
You're just shedding the lining of the uterus. It's like a snake sheds its skin.
Snake, yes, very interesting. You use snake. Jim.
Hey.
Hey, you're 22.
Yeah, I'm a aspiring bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking norandrostenedione.
Androstenedione, yeah.
Well, norandro. I'm not sure what the other drug they use in it. And I'm also...
Well, one of them sung the theme to the Titanic, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And thank you. I like to get in a legitimate joke every once in a while, even if it's bad.
You got to do it, man. I'm also taking androstenediol. I'm just wondering what kind of serious health effects I could have in the future.
So these are just anabolic androgenic hormones, right?
Yeah.
Are they injectables?
No, these are actually, you can buy them right off the shelf. They're just pills.
So it's androstenedione, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
How much are those pills?
One bottle costs $25 for 60 pills, and the other bottle costs $34 for 60 pills.
How long does the 60 pills last you?
2 months.
Oh, that's not bad.
See, I take one of each before my workouts.
Yeah.
Also, about creatine, I think a lot of people don't realize what it does. I think there are a lot of misconceptions about it.
What's your understanding of it?
Well, a lot of people talk about, well, I take it for endurance and stuff like that. I just read a study from Germany, and they found out that it really doesn't help a lot with endurance.
Right, it's strength.
Yeah. A lot of it is strength.
Yeah, it's strength. It increases availability of phosphate.
How dangerous is this creatine?
We don't know. Probably no big deal, as far as we can tell.
You know, these people who take it, I don't think, drink enough water with it, for one thing.
Well, Jim, look, here's a couple principles. There's no free lunch in nature.
True.
You do something that alters your physiology, there will be an effect.
True.
A side effect beyond the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
Always. I don't care what it is, there's always a side of influence, a law of unintended effects. Now, as far as androstenedione goes, these are potentially rather potent androgens.
Yes, they are.
And excess androgens potentially could increase the risk of prostate cancer, heart disease, strokes, liver inflammation. We just don't know how long with that particular chemical before we're going to see these things. So the easy answer, or the simple answer, is we don't know, to your question.
Are you going to compete?
I'm not. I'm just looking to just get my body up into a better physical condition. I don't want to be, all freaked out. I don't even, I don't want to take injectable steroids or anything like that.
And those definitely, we know, cause all those problems I mentioned.
That stuff.
And in addition, mood problems and, oh boy.
You know, it's kind of weird, though, sort of ironic that, you want to get yourself into better shape, but you potentially could be screwing your liver up or something.
Yeah. I try to research these as best as I can.
Jim?
But let me tell you about something here, Jim.
Okay.
First off, you shouldn't care what you look like. You should only care what other people think you look like. That's what I'm going to tell my kids, by the way. Because really, who cares what you think? Now, as far as what other people think, women... And that's the only other people I'm really worried about.
Yeah.
Those guys can kiss my ass. Women like a, lean physique. They like swimmers, volleyball players.
Drug addicts.
Musicians, middleweight to light heavyweight boxers. Some guy goes about 175 pounds and he's 6 foot tall. That's what they like. Now, the big muscle head guys... They do that for guys, not for girls, because girls aren't really into it, except for the really stupid girls.
Yeah.
Which is all right, because sometimes they're better looking. But the point is here's my problem with working out. Soon as you stop, you pretty much bounce back to whatever you were before you started doing it. It's a matter of weeks or months sometimes. It's kind of pathetic that, you put in 5 years in the gym, let's say, then you tweak your ankle, playing a game of pickup hoop and you're in bed for 6 weeks and you basically snap back to what you were, which is kind of sad that you, it's almost like, it's like spending 5 years to get a degree, and then you take a month vacation from work, and you got to go back to college for another 5 years to get the degree. The math doesn't gel for me. So it seems to me that guys, you should just be eating decent and just doing something you like, working out, not getting fat.
Right. Working out should be a lifetime lifestyle commitment because it's got to be something you can maintain for decades.
Right. Mike.
Yes.
You're 30.
Yes. Adam, Dr. Drew, good evening.
Hey.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks.
Love the show. Been listening since almost about 3 years now, I guess.
Wow.
When you started, fantastic. I wanted to clarify the crab situation out in the field for the soldiers. The guy that was saying that you're crawling around out in the bush there, and that's where we'd catch the crabs. Well, the crabs got to live off of the hair follicles and the skin.
Right.
Well, what it was is all of us GIs, when we were in garrison, when we weren't out in the field, we were all out banging hookers and getting rub jobs and doing things like that.
That's what I say. It's more crawling around trying to find the ping pong ball that went flying from the chick's crotch in the Bangkok brothel. More than it is being out in the field.
But then it starts bugging them when they're out in the field.
Exactly, because we had like 2-man rooms, sometimes 3-man rooms, and so everybody was pretty segregated. But when we'd go out in the field, they'd set up like a GP medium 10 or a GP large, and you'd have anywhere from 40, 50, 60, 70 guys sleeping in one tent with bunks, and they're all sitting on each other's bunks and mingling with each other.
Oh, the crabs are having a good old time.
It would literally just sweep through a whole company.
How can you masturbate in that kind of environment?
At 2 o'clock in the morning when you're on guard duty and nobody's really awake, you kind of look one way and you look the other, and you just, how do you say it? You empty one out of the chamber.
Yeah.
And
wow, put the silencer on, screw it onto the end of the penis.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it. The only thing that puts a damper on is when you have one guy off in the corner, crying like, "I miss my mommy, I miss my mommy."
Yeah.
It tends to kind of damper it, but you get through it.
Yeah.
What?
It's hard to focus, in other words, when a guy's going through, when a guy's homesick and he's crying about his girlfriend or his mom, and you're trying to focus on your masturbation.
That's when you reach down and you remember that first porno tape that you saw.
I thought everyone in the military had to whack off to Connie Stevens because Bob Hope always brought her around on those USO shows. Isn't that some sort of regulation, Drew? Okay.
Oh, well.
Fine.
Anyways, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. Take care of yourself. All right. What's the deal? The crab lives off the follicle?
You don't know what they live on, but they reside at the follicle.
Oh, they reside at the
right at the base of the hair is where they live.
That's where they live.
Yeah.
Why? Not on the hair?
I do not know much about the life cycle of the crab, nor the taste preferences.
Seems it'd be a hard place to root them out of there because they're right at the base. Like if they hung around at the end of the hairs, you could sort of comb them through or flick them off, right?
Right. You can't really do that.
So they hang out at the base of the follicle of the pubic hair. And what do you think? You don't know what they live off of?
Nope.
But they don't.
They must be blood because the lice carry bloodborne diseases. They carry diseases.
Right.
Rickettsial disease.
So they must get in and suck some blood.
Yeah.
Oh, Drew, you got to bring in one of those
pictures.
Electron microscope shots of a crab. That ain't right. Those, it's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen those.
Yeah, it's scary.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go scratch now because we've been talking about this for too long. When we come back, we'll talk to Andre. Wants to know if you can get sick from ingesting the yeast during oral sex. Oh, I'm going to throw up and then I'm going to scratch.
All right. The phone number for LoveLine is 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine, I'll be right back.
Hi, this is David Spade, and when I'm driving around listening to the radio, if there's absolutely nothing on any other station, I listen to LoveLine with Adam and Drew, because I'm naughty.
It's been too long since David was on the show.
Now, he is a big star now.
He is a big star now.
He's done. When people become big stars, we don't see him anymore.
If I see him, I'll talk some sense into him. I haven't seen him around in a while either. I don't think. I used to run into him in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Where did I see him? Oh, yeah. Where was that? Oh, that was Chris's birthday party? Yeah, I talked to him there. Yeah, I was so loaded at this party because Drew gave me this, I had an infected tooth. Drew gave me these antibiotics and told me not to drink, but he really should have driven the point home more. Oh. I had a couple of martinis with these... with this antibiotic he gave me, and I started spinning around. I was out of it. I was out of it in a huge way.
Well, what did I tell you?
Driving. Well, I figured that out, though. I figured, listen, my blood alcohol level's not over the legal limit, right, Drew?
We don't know that.
Well, it wasn't.
Yeah, okay. If he says you were pulled over and tested?
No, I wasn't, but I used to teach traffic school, comedy traffic school. But I still know if you have like a couple of highballs in the course of like 4 or 5 hours,
yeah,
you're not over the legal limit.
Right.
Although because I had these antibiotics that you gave me, I was feeling a little out of it. What was I going to do? Let Mike drive?
No, of course not.
He was Jesus Christ, he was a mess. You think he's sloppy drunk when he comes in here to work, Drew. You really should have seen him that night. But the point is, Drew, is I don't know which antibiotics you gave me, but you shouldn't be drinking with those.
I told you that.
I know, but I wasn't planning on drinking, so I didn't think about it at the time. What's it do to you?
It's more of what it does to the liver when you add alcohol to it.
What about other stuff with booze, like sleeping pills, stuff like that?
That just makes the effects more pronounced.
But doesn't screw your liver up?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. Hey, Andre.
Hello?
What's going on?
Hello?
Yeah, because I think booze is like sort of a catalyst for a lot of these pills. It really kicks them off, you know what I mean?
A lot of these pills that you take.
Yeah, the pill alone is all right, but you wash it down with some booze, and now you really got it's like pouring a little of that octane boost in your car, it really comes alive. Yes, thank you. Andre?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay, so yesterday night I was eating my girlfriend's vagina, and it tasted kind of chalky, and when it's like sour or something. So like I turned on the light, and it was like I could tell it was something was wrong. And then I remember reading about cottage cheese type discharge from like a yeast infection. So my question is like, because I kind of feel kind of ill after that.
Oh, please, it won't hurt you.
It won't, because I feel like I'm like corners of my mouth have broken out or something like that. But
well,
have they?
Yeah, like kind of like little.
Well, interestingly, that's an interesting observation because you can get yeast in the mouth. It's called thrush then.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man. Hey, Andre.
Sometimes
Andre went and turned the light on. Turns out he's gone down on the cat.
Sometimes thrush can be associated with something called chelosis, which are these tiny cracks in the corners of the mouth. So if but usually you wouldn't get thrush if your immune system is normal.
Why'd your girlfriend let you do that if she was having difficulty down there?
I'm not sure. Maybe she was just playing a joke on me or something.
What?
But it was pretty nappy, though.
Playing a joke on him. She couldn't have got that
I don't know. I asked the same thing. I was
can
like,
of peanut brittle with the snake into it. You had to go down on her while she had a yeast infection.
I was
That's some
like,
sense of humor.
I do it pretty much every night, but I don't even know how it happened. But I was kind of pissed off that she didn't like.
Maybe she didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I should. How long does it take to heal up or something? Like,
Heal what up?
For her vagina to like.
Very fast if she gets the medication. If she has yeast, if there's some question, she needs to see a doctor and be cultured. And
hey, Andre, you doing this every night?
I try to.
Yeah, you enjoy it?
I love it.
Yeah, see, there's a handful of guys that are really into this, and they really screw the curve up for the other guys who look at it as sort of, putting our time in.
Oh, like my mouth acidity somehow messes up her pH or something?
No, what I'm saying is there's, I don't know what the percentage
Adam
is.
isn't worried about your girlfriend, he's worried about himself. And by the way, just being, having your mouth...
Your ultimate nightmare, hold on a second, Drew, is going out with Andre's girlfriend after Andre got to her. Oh, yeah. Andre used to go down there and gnaw away like one of those beavers in a cartoon when they were like eating a log, turning a tree into a toothpick, in 10 seconds. Every night, Andre did that. That's it's a tough act to follow.
It's a precedent, huh?
Yeah, that's a bitch. All right, so what were you saying, Drew?
That also you can get the irritation in the corner of the mouth from nutritional deficiencies or just irritating your mouth, spending too much time with your mouth
in
open.
A hostile environment.
Right.
True, one should not spend too much time down there, should they? Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing, but every night, like I said, you're setting yourself up for a fall. There's really nowhere to go from there but down. Right, Drew? Okay. Kelly.
Yeah.
You're 22.
Yes, I am.
What's going on?
I think I'm losing my mind, I swear.
Hey, hold on. Are you on some kind of speakerphone?
I am. My chronos went dead while I was on hold.
All right, well, pick the phone up, would you, screwball?
There?
There we go.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Okay, I'm sorry. If it starts beeping, I've got problems. I'm a single mother. My son's going to be a year old. And I had not had sex in over a year. For obvious reasons. And I got involved. I had a friend. We were talking for quite a while, and somehow it ended up sexual. And it was an agreement ahead of time that there was going to be a no strings attached type situation.
Whose idea was that?
Both. Okay, at first I thought I wanted a relationship, but now, I mean, I'm getting ready to finish my bachelor's degree, and...
Well, no, so it wasn't your idea. It was his idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Drew, stop imposing your will on everybody.
No, it's look, I think women get into those kinds of relationships because they have to. Because the guy won't maintain the relationship unless she agrees to it. And she's sort of embarrassed that she's not acting like a liberated woman if she doesn't accept the terms of a ridiculous relationship.
And she's sort of desperate for anything, so she'll take what she can get.
Well, I'm not desperate, no.
Well, a little bit.
Well, you put up with this crap.
Well, not really. I mean...
All right, so what happened?
So it's starting to get weird. I mean, he's like bringing gifts over, spending the night, things like that, and it's totally not what we agreed on.
Oh, see that, Drew?
So he's getting involved.
And I'm getting, I mean, it's weird because the type of person he is, he's a great friend, the sex is great, but I'm not going to want anything more with him because of the way he is. I know that he's not going to contribute to a relationship what I want him to, you know?
Wow.
It's weird. It's
How is he? What is it that he is?
Everything works one way. It's all what he wants. It's all what he wants to do, you know, things like that. And that's not how a relationship works, and I've learned that the hard way, you know? And I don't know. I feel like I'm being the man in this situation, and it's weird. It really is.
Hold on. Let me talk to Drew for a second.
Guy's too nice.
Okay.
Guy's too nice.
Hold on a second now. On one hand, you think you're hearing someone who's healthy.
Yeah, no.
Right? You think, yeah, but on one hand, you go, well, here's a woman who knows what the guy's capable of and what he's not capable of, knows what she wants out of a relationship, and feels that her needs aren't going to be met, and is making very mature decision, especially at the age of 22, and saying that she doesn't want to get more involved with this guy, knowing the way it's going to be. Then you realize she got a kid with no original guy around.
Learned the hard way.
She's 22, and she's one of our callers.
Well, and did you hear what she said? He's screwing with my mind. He's bringing me nice gifts. He's fawning over me. He's making me feel like he really cares about him. But I know things are just one way with him.
All right, so you're going to go with...
Too nice. Needs
too
care.
nice.
Needs abuse.
Like Kelly's dad was a little bit of a prick, right?
Quite a little bit.
Okay, let's see about that. Kelly?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm back on speakerphone.
All right. Well,
phone died. Don't hang up on me.
Okay.
Pick up the phone.
She can't. The phone died.
Oh.
Phone died.
Doesn't it charge when you put it down on the...
It charges, but it's like messed up and it has to charge for like 6 hours.
Okay. Okay. Listen, Kelly.
Yeah.
Now what?
Now what?
Okay, good. Listen to me. Is your dad an a-hole?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. He was a little bit abusive?
He wasn't abusive at all, no, but my mom and my dad were together, totally nuclear family and everything. But my mom died 3 years ago. My dad got married 2 months afterwards. Tell you something?
Well, you hold that against him, but other than that, as a father to you, how was he?
I don't speak to him anymore. It's kind of more than I can go into, but I don't speak to him anymore. He's kind of a jerk, but he did support me through my whole life, and he drove a truck, so he wasn't around a lot.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean...
All right, he's a jerk, and your first boyfriend was a jerk, right? Just like your dad.
They've all been jerks. I'm a jerk magnet. It's the story of my life.
Yeah, until this guy.
Until this guy. This guy's willing to be a decent guy, but you're not going to have any of it.
And that's what I thought.
It makes you sick. He seems weak.
Right. You're the man.
You're the man, and he's the woman because he's vulnerable.
Because, God forbid, he's being emotionally available to you.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
See, I thought I was reading too much into it, but I don't know.
You are.
She's not hearing you, Adam.
Hey, listen, screwball.
I hear ya.
No, this is a good guy, is what we're telling you. You just can't handle it.
Okay.
Did you understand what we're telling you?
I understand, and don't get rid of him.
No, you don't like him because he's a good guy.
Okay.
All you can handle is an a-hole.
Do I need to go to therapy?
Yes.
Or just hang in with this guy and try to be available and see what happens.
Okay, but I'm just worried because of my son being involved in it, you know?
No,
he's already
worried.
involved.
Listen, if you're that worried about your son, you wouldn't have had a kid with an a-hole in the first place who abandoned you.
True.
All right, then. Stop worrying about you. Everyone's worried about their kids. Meanwhile, the original dad's in jail. You know, their kids they're so worried about the kids that they don't have a dad. Believe me. If some joker on a Harley pulled up, she'd leave the kid, tell the kid to watch himself. Hey, play with this space heater. I gotta go. I gotta go to the bar with Tex. Tex. Listen, Drew and I both knew what was going on. Actually, Drew knew first, but it dawned on me. Hey, this guy's actually a nice guy. He brings her presents. Listen, you screwed up broads out there. There's a lot of women out there, because their dads were a-holes and because all they know is abusive guys, that if they find a guy's actually somewhat empathic, then a guy brings them a stuffed animal every once in a while or cries during a sad movie.
Screwing with their minds.
He's a woman.
Yeah.
His strength is
detachment.
Yeah. You have to be detached, and you have to be somewhat abusive, at least verbally, to be strong as a male.
It's so sick.
Yeah, it's sick, but it's what Trucker Pop taught her.
Yep.
All right. Trucker Pop, that's a good name. All right, let's
Elisa, can't forget the cruel things her ex said. We'll find out what those things
I'm
were.
not going to stick around for that. Find a better one. Sports? No. Jennifer got HPV. That's the human papilloma virus, right?
Warts.
Did they really need the human in front of it? It couldn't just be the papilloma virus, and we'd assume that Jennifer wasn't a coyote.
Wasn't with a coyote.
Wasn't humping a warthog. Jennifer has the human papilloma virus from her rapist. Ooh. Got breast reduction and broke up with boyfriend. Will men still like her? Wow. All right. Now that's something. We'll be back.
Adam and Dr. Drew will be right back on LoveLine in just a minute or two. Call 1-800-LOVE-191.
It's LoveLine, only on WEB.
You're going to be stuck being heterosexually, mate?
Yeah.
I see.
Unless I can get Mike to make a move.
I'm homosexual.
All right, sure, the mic's on. Phone number. Oh, forget about that. Jennifer. Boy, this is heavy. Jennifer?
Yeah. Hi.
You're 26.
Yes, I am.
You got the warts from a rapist.
Yes, I did.
What happened with that?
Well, he was an acquaintance, and he wanted to have sex, and I wouldn't have sex with him, so he raped me anally.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
And when he did this, he gave me, the HPV virus.
And you say an acquaintance. What's that mean?
Excuse me?
What do you mean an acquaintance?
Well, he was an acquaintance. I had met him, and I had explained to him on several different occasions that I wasn't interested in anything other than just that kind of a relationship as an acquaintance kind of thing.
Did you date him?
No, I did not.
Okay.
And it was someone you knew from work or school or something?
No, I had met him one day when I was downtown, and we just started talking and stuff, and after the initial time, after I'd met him the initial time, I decided in my head that I didn't like him. He just wasn't the kind of person.
Right. Well, how'd you run into him again?
Well, he came to my house, and he knocked on the door, and I went to the door, and no one answered, and knocked again. I looked outside, and he was out there. And he came in, and he basically just...
Oh, boy.
How do you know where you lived?
Because he had been to my home before.
All right, now hold on now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not making this your fault in any way, but if you were downtown, you met a guy, you didn't like him, and you moved on, and now
I didn't know. I mean, I had given him my number and said, "Yeah, call me. Let's, we'll get to know each other." And after the first time I got to know him, I didn't like him.
Right.
Came to your house
once. Kept coming back around, and I was trying to be nice about it and say, "Look, I'm not interested in you in that way."
All right. So now, did you bring charges against this guy?
I tried, but they couldn't find him.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right.
Oh.
Right.
But it's on the record somewhere, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, they got the guy's name and everything.
Yes. Yes.
And did he hold a knife to you or something?
No, he didn't. Not violently in that way. No.
How? Pardon me for being crude, but how does a guy, how do you get in that orifice without serious force?
Well, he was about 6'5" and about 270 pounds.
So he just scared you so much.
Really, exactly.
Oh. Had anything like this happen to you before?
When I was younger, yeah, by my father. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Magical.
Magical, yeah, exactly. I know. I hear you guys talk about that.
I got to tell you, Jennifer, something...
We knew it from the beginning.
Yeah, we did, but, on a couple levels. There's two things I've learned from this show.
Yeah.
That I didn't know before. Mm-hmm. And TV actually doesn't portray rape this way, but they just started actually recently with a lot of those movies of the week and all that stuff. The multi-title movies that I like so much. But I thought rapists, I thought 95% of rape happened to women who were jogging in park and gang members came out of bushes, kind of thing. I've realized from this show that it's the other way around. 90-something% of rape is perpetrated by guys that the women knew and that women had some history of victimization, usually early on. And I'm not 13 or 14, but 8 or 9, 7, something that their dad did, something that made this guy attracted to you, and something that let him, know where you live or whatever it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's horrible. It's really like your dad raped you twice or, put you on the installment plan. It's like I raped you when you were 7 and then raped you when you were, 24 or whenever this happened.
All right, well, Jennifer, what's your question for us tonight?
Oh, man.
Well...
How long ago did this happen?
A little over a year.
Oh, boy.
You need to be aware that... I don't want to scare you with this, but maybe through regular screening, see a gastroenterologist or a proctologist, they can help you with this one. But anal warts are associated, for people who get anal cancers, there's almost always a history of anal human papillomavirus.
Right, right. And I had the laser surgery already to have him removed.
Oh, good. God, I hope they catch up to this guy.
I do, too. I have a private investigator, actually, who's trying to find him.
Oh, really?
Good for you.
Yes, I do.
Well,
and I've been in counseling.
You've had some therapy. I was going to say that. You can tell.
I have
because you're not
realization that, you kind of attract, when you feel that bad about yourself, you kind of attract those kind of people.
Oh, yeah.
To you. And I guess my question was, after that, I had breast reduction surgery, and they had to go and reconstruct my breasts because they were so large. And so I have scars now, and then I've had that happen, and I'm just wondering, how can I ever... How do I approach this? How do I approach this subject with anyone in the future? I just...
The rape and abuse issues?
Right. And without, how do you tell someone that you're interested in, you met them, you're thinking about having a relationship or something. Yeah. And how do you... I'm just not quite sure. If I were a man and a woman was to tell me that, I would be blown away. Yeah. And I just didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Well, listen, a lot of people aren't going to like this advice, but I'd keep it under my hat. Mm-hmm. I think this is it's a manifestation of your childhood and the atrocities that your dad committed upon you. It's sort of between you and your therapist. Yeah. It's great to find an empathic guy, but I think he needs to know that maybe things weren't as great as they could be growing up and so forth. But I don't think he needs every detail of your life, certainly not your adult life.
It's more that you have to be careful not to choose guys who are victimizers or who are savers, fixers.
Right.
You're going to have to be very tuned into who you're dating and work real diligently in your therapy.
Jennifer, where are you calling from?
Washington.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say, as far as catching this guy... because I was just reading the note that the court sent to Mr. Cartula, which is me, by the way, about my court date, which came and went regarding the guy who destroyed my property. I was going to say, if the guy goes on to rape, it may be difficult, at least if he was out here in California, Southern California, for them to apprehend him. But one day he'll slip up and get a parking ticket. or he'll let his registration roll over at the DMV.
SWAT team.
Then the SWAT team comes in. That's when the helicopter over the guy's house is hovering and the guys rappel down. Because rape, I don't think there's much in it for them revenue-wise. Do you have to pay anything when you rape somebody if you get caught? There's no dues. There's no back taxes. Nothing like that? No. Jackasses.
Let's go before you keep. Let's get some calls.
Oh no! God damn! I am so mad. My girlfriend said to me today, "You missed your court appearance. The court appearance where I had to show up in court." Bringing receipts so I could prove that the guy who destroyed my car.
Oh, boy.
After I showed up at court with my receipts 3 years ago, and we settled on a price. You guys are so effing pathetic. Jesus Christ. It's like, why don't you just put a bucket at the goddamn 7-Eleven and we could feed it like you're one of Jerry's kids, you pathetic fundraising bastards? Do your goddamn job. I want you to use the same computer you use to keep track of my parking tickets, to keep track of the people that owe me money. God damn it. I got to go in there. Oh, for Christ's sake. They're the most inept. You know what it goes from? Don't you turn that crap down? I'm pissed off.
They'll arrest you.
Listen to me, you pathetic blood-sucking vampires over there at the DMV and the Van Nuys courthouse. You pathetic, worthless bastards. Listen to me. I want you to use the same guys to find the guy who owes me money that you use when you figure out that I owe you $36.50 for the parking ticket. Can you use the same computer? Put McGruff on that one, would you? It's incomprehensible. I mean, I bring the receipts down there, I make my case, they establish the thing, and then it disappears from their computer. Nothing disappears when you owe them money. I guarantee you that. Some a-hole owes me $4,000, and I gotta like quit my job to go down there and filibuster. It's ridiculous.
Well, I have a microphone.
I swear to God, I want to sue those people. I gotta go. I'm gonna call them tomorrow and keep you guys abreast of what's going on.
We gotta go to break.
Right.
You don't.
All right.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
Just it is. I swear we got to get. It's this affirmative action, Drew. That's what it's got to be. I don't know. Someone's got a clean house over there. All right, we'll be back.
Operators are standing by. LoveLine will be back in a minute. This has been LoveLine. The views expressed on LoveLine are not necessarily those of the staff, the management, or the sponsors of this radio station. And are probably not the views of Westwood One Entertainment. LoveLine is produced by Ann Wilkins Ingold. Now, please listen to this station longer.